Okay, this is going to be on connecting the jaw controller. So I've already got the jaw controller parented to the head controller. Now what I'm going to do from this point is I can't exactly just parent this controller here. I do believe I've already orient constrained it, which I have, so, and I don't even have it named, jaw joint. So I've already ran an orient constraint on here. In order to get this to work right, generally what I'll do is simply I'm going to set driven key, under key, set driven key, and go set. This will be the driver, the jaw joint will be the driven, and the reason I do this way is generally you'll see like a jaw controller up here in a control scheme above his head. I like to put it right here on his, right underneath his jaw. Helps me visually animate instead of having, maybe one camera here wiggling around, and then if we're in a multiple viewport setting where I have one camera here focused just on the controllers and one here on his face, I find it a little bit easier just to have it right there where his jaw is animating. So from here, what I'll do is I've got my, make sure I've got the load driven. Okay. So what I'll do is when I translate this down, I'll literally just drag the other one down. So I'm going to do a translate Y and translate Y, I believe. Actually, I have to double check that because that is not necessarily true. So it's X and Y. When I drag this down, it's moving on X and Y because jaw joints or joints in general are just strange. So when I'm moving my jaw controller on translate Y, okay, it's going to be controlling X and Y here. So I'm going to key these both where it's at 0. Now I'm going to take my controller, drag it down a little bit, I don't know, say negative 1.5. Now what I'm going to do is drag this down, and I'm going to go key, and now you see how it moves up. Well, it'll move down. So I also want to do edit attribute, and it's not working at the moment. Oh, because I haven't added any attributes. I want to go into my attribute editor, and under limit information, under translate Y minimum, I want to make it negative 1.5. So now when I move this down, it won't go past 1.5. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing, moving the jaw up to close it slightly, and this usually I'm just going to go to 0.5. I don't want it to go too far up, but I'd like to be able to have that extra information. So now I select my jaw controller, drag it up. Oh, and before I do that, run a key, because we're going to set it basically at 0. Run a key here, run a key here, and now drag it up. 0.5, and now select here, drag this straight up, and do a key and key. And then limit information here, the max here will be 0.5. 0.5. So now we've just set it to go up and down, up and down. So far, so good. Okay, so Y is all taken care of. We set a minimum and a maximum on it. And now we'll do side to side. So I'll go ahead and move it off to the side, and we could do this one in here. And I'll go ahead and move it to right here. But first, before I do that, I want to find out which axes my jaw joint moves on. So in this case, when I move it this way, it only looks like it moves on the Z axis. So that makes it a little bit easier. This will be translate X, and the other one will be translate Z. So first I'm going to key it, because I'm basically setting it at 0, key, and now I'm going to take my joint, move it over, take this one, move it over, and I set it to an extreme. Okay, and I'll hit key, and this is at 1.325, translate Z, 1.325, or 1.32, oh, translate X. Set this to 0 for the time being, and set this to 1.325, and we're good. So now when I bring it over, it'll stop there. And now I'm going to make the negative go to here. This will go here. Oops. So I have to set my driven first, negative 1.325. And now I'll hit key. And set this to 0. And this will be negative 1.325. And we're good. So now translate Z and Y are working. And the last one I'll do is here. And I'll do a forward backward in case I want to get his jaw moving forward or backwards. And in order to do that, under here I need to make sure, so this will be X and Y, and this will be Z. So Z will be controlling X and Y, so this is setting it to 0, key, and key. I want to move it out to 1. Bring that out to about here. And key and key. And translate Z maximum is set to 1. Let's put this at 0. Okay, it's working good. So now the next thing, I'll have it move in slightly, and this will be like the mouth going up as well. Not so much. Probably about negative 0.5. And here, bring that about there. Go X key, Y key, and this will be negative 0.5. -0.5. And now all of my controllers have minimum and maximums, and I should be able to move them around like this. Now these are set to extremes. You'll never bring his jaw this low unless you're going for a really super cartoony look, but it's nice to be able to do that. So I kind of like to give it a little bit of exaggeration right off the bat. So we have our minimum, maximum here, jaw forward, up. Now we have up and down, and we have left to right, and we could run a combination. So that works well. And as we move this around, that also moves around, so we're good there. That's the jaw controller. Thanks for watching.